Yo, what's up, my guy? Long time no see, brother.
Man, how was the vacation? We took a week and a half off, bro.
Man, we took some time off, let me tell you.
Ah,
Shoot, but hey, here we are. We're in this thing live. We're here tonight to talk a little college football breakdown, specifically Oklahoma Sooners, Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, we're going to be hopping on here every other day, daily. We got some interviews coming up. We're not going to tell y'all who. We've got things in process right now, but we're going to be talking about different college football programs every other day or daily. We're going to be hopping on here. So you guys are going to want to join the House Divided podcast. As always, just like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys can be up to date on all our newest, latest content. And also, too, hop down there in those comments, guys. We want to hear from y'all. So, sorry, Corey. Didn't mean to steal your thunder there, brother.
I liked it.
I just been kind of
Uh,
ready for this one, man. We had a little hiatus. My guy Corey over here was at a all out camp for OSU. He was on Fox 23 News, did an interview. Like, my guy, talk
I
to us
appreciate
about
it,
that.
man.
I want to hear it.
Hey, real quick, it's called the Epis Sports Experience. Epis, EPOS, is Greek for epic. And what we do is we do 9 different sports in a 6-day span, 2 different sessions. We had over 1,400 kids this past week. Baseball, softball, boy and girls basketball, football, tennis, wrestling, soccer. And not only did we do the sports, but in the afternoon we came back and we did some things with social media, mental toughness, speed and agility. And then that night, man, we took them to church every night.
There's
Um,
nothing wrong with that.
Bro, God bless, man. I don't talk
God
about it
bless
much
him.
on the channel because of the current times, but I'm a faithful man. I'm a God fearing man. I love the Lord, my Savior, Jesus Christ, and God,
Amen.
and
Amen.
we just try to touch the kids, man. Just try to pay it forward. So, but that all happened last week, and that's why I was gone. That's why the show kind of took a little stop. But we back. We here to talk about some OU football tonight and some OSU football. So, Big Brother always goes first, and I have no shame and no. I have no problem with saying that OU's the Big Brother. I think that the record's like 90 something, 19-3 or whatever you want to call it. So, Big Brother always goes first here in the state of Oklahoma. So, B, open us up. Let's talk about the 2023 outlook for the OU Sooners. Get us started.
Is there any way up here you can get the schedule up on the screen? Do your little technical thing that you do, Corey. Give me the schedule up here on the screen so we can break this thing down.
Yeah, you get to
If you
talking and
it,
I'll have it up by time before you know it.
okay, okay. Week 1. I mean, we got some cupcakes. We really OU got a cupcake non-conference schedule this season. One of the biggest reasons was that because they did have Georgia on the non-conference schedule, like they were going to play a home and home with Georgia, but the SEC canceled that due to the move of going to the SEC, which I don't understand really why they did that because not only did they just mess up the non-conference for both teams because Oklahoma, Georgia in a non-conference, even before OU gets to the SEC, is going to be lights, camera, action. Oh, lost you here. You back?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. So did you hear what I was saying though? Like as far as like Oklahoma and Georgia losing that in the non-conference schedule for
Right.
this year and next year. Now, granted, we're going to the SEC, but they kept Alabama and Texas. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
why is that? And they can't say it's because they're playing them in the first year or whatever, because Oklahoma is not even projected to play Georgia in the first year in the SEC. So that's neither here nor there, though. We break all that down. So you got Arkansas State, you got SMU, and then I believe the other non-conference game. I'd have to get on here and look. Let me see. Let me bring the schedule up.
Hold on. I'm coming with it. Hold on. I'm
It's
close.
Tulsa. It's at Tulsa.
Yes,
So
that's
you
all.
got so we got Arkansas State, we got SMU, and we got at Tulsa. Me looking at that schedule right there, realistically, you'd have to say Oklahoma's going to be 3-0 after that if everything works out the way that it's supposed to. Right? They're going to be favored in those games. It's going to work out. things are going to go right. The only game there in those first three that I'm kind of like, ooh, pause for a second here, is SMU. Because SMU by Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, they're projected either 8 to 8.5 wins. So, and you can either take the over or the under on that. SMU has been a solid football team. Now, do I think they're going to come pull up into Norman and beat Oklahoma? They better not. If they do, it's going to. If they do, I'm just here to say it right now. It's going to be a very long season to come. So you look at all those things: Arkansas State W, SMU W, Tulsa W. At Cincinnati, first Big 12 game. Which this is another one of those things to where it's like, okay, you guys make us go to the newcomers' place coming into the Big 12. Cincinnati's new to the Big 12. And Oklahoma has to travel on the road to them as opposed to them coming to Oklahoma. I mean, it's okay. I get it. The Big 12's a little salty. Oklahoma's going to go pull up in there to Cincinnati, and they're going to get a dub. Now, I do think this next game right here against Iowa State, that's always a tricky game. You got Matt Campbell over there. He doesn't necessarily recruit at the top of the top, but he sits there and he develops the players that he does recruit. There's a bunch of 2 and 3 star guys that he pulls out. He gets a bunch of JUCO transfers, things like that, and he forms a good, solid football team all the time. So you can never sleep on Iowa State. Now, granted, I'm happy that it's in Norman and it's not in Ames. So the Big 12 did us a favor there. We don't have to go to Ames, Iowa no more. I'm so excited about that one. So I got Oklahoma winning this game, but I think this is going to be a close game, and I'm here to say it right now on live. This is the game that you hear the Jackson Arnold chants. Dylan Gabriel, if he struggles just a little bit going into Big 12 play against a common opponent, this is the game in Norman. You see what I'm saying? It could potentially be like a 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m. kickoff. If it's an 11 o'clock kickoff, it won't be as bad. But when it gets to be about 5:30, 6 o'clock, those Sooner fans, they hang out around the stadium and they get to drinking some beers and some alcohol gets a little involved, and they get a little untesty and a little uneasy.
Yeah.
So I'm calling it right now. This is the game you're going to see Jackson Arnold take the throne. I'm calling it. I know that's a big take, but what do you think about that before I go on into this other part of the schedule? What do you think about my take there?
No, look, I think if Gabriel performs well at Cincinnati, and he performs well at home against Iowa State, then there's no reason for those calls. And what I say about perform well, you really got to show, hey, we're the big dog around here. We've won this conference. I don't know, out of the last 7 years, we've won it like 5. And so, you know, before Kansas State and Baylor the previous 2 years, you guys were the big dog. Lincoln Riley, ever since he stepped into the head coaching role, he had won the Big 12 every single year. And so if he performs well at Cincinnati, he performs well at home against Iowa State, there's no need for those calls.
I agree. No, I agree with that. I'm saying that I can see him struggling against an Iowa State. That's the first team on the schedule that I'm looking at, and I'm like, I think he goes and pulls up into Cincinnati and handles business, because this isn't a Luke Fickell coach team no more. This is a much different Cincinnati football team than the one that we've seen a couple years ago in the college football playoff against Alabama. This is not that Cincinnati with Sauce Gardner and Ritter. What was it? Desmond Ritter at quarterback. So it's like, so like they don't have those kind of dudes right now in Cincinnati, and this is their first year in the Big 12, and that's going to be the first Big 12 game. So I got Oklahoma, though, at the end of the day. I got them pulling up in here.
I will say this before we jump into the Red River. One more thing about Iowa State real quick. They were the best defensive team in the conference last year.
They were. They were.
They had the worst offense, but they had the best defense. So
they were also one of the teams that we actually beat. So I'm not – and that was at Ames. This is in Norman. I'm just saying I could see the boo birds starting to come out for Dylan Gabriel if he does not perform well. But I agree with you 100%. If he performs well up to this point, I don't see them going away from him, which I think – I'm not calling that that's what I want, Corey. I think Dylan Gabriel going through this whole entire season, especially with the way the schedule is in the Big 12 this year, they did us a favor, and I'll break that down after we talk about it all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's you see what I'm getting at here? It's
Yeah,
like in a perfect world, we want Dylan Gabriel to be the one that carries on this torch. And then in 2024, you're rolling up into the SEC. You've got a more seasoned player in Jackson Arnold because he was able to sit behind Dylan Gabriel for a year, which I think would be best case scenario.
Right.
So, okay, 5-0, right? I think we can both agree, looking at this schedule at this point, Oklahoma's going to be sitting there at 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Any disagreements?
Nope.
Okay, now they're pulling up in here to the Red River. It was a 49-0 absolute freaking melee massacre last year. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely skull drug us across the freaking field. Half the fans were gone a little bit after halftime for the OU side. It was absolutely miserable. We didn't have a quarterback, by the way. So this year I do feel like it's going to be a lot different. I don't think that it's going to be a blowout either way.
Mm-hmm.
However, as much as it pains me to say this, and I'm just going to be realistic, looking at both teams on paper right now, because Texas has a much better wide receiver core than we do. We have a bunch of guys that I haven't seen prove anything. Marvin Mims isn't there no more. They got all their guys over there at Texas. They probably have one of the most elite receiving cores in the nation. This kills me to say, by the way. I'm an absolute diehard.
Yes.
This is the one, Corey. This is the game on the schedule that can always go either way. You never know. I think Oklahoma drops this one in a close, tight game. Now, we're going to get into it here in just a little bit at the end, because whenever I look at the rest of Oklahoma's schedule, if you could just scroll down there a little bit for me, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can I scroll down on it or whatever?
I'll scroll down on it.
You look at the rest of our schedule, the only other game on there that concerns me, there's 2 games that concern me. Actually, I'll say 3. Oklahoma State, because it's a bedlam and it's going to be the last bedlam, and I think you guys are going to be absolutely fired up and reared up to show Big Brother off to beat them. I don't think UCF or Kansas is beating us, especially if we were to lose a close game to Texas, because you're either going to get a fiery, mad Oklahoma team that was upset because they lost a close game to their rival, or you're going to get an Oklahoma team that just mails it in and says we're that 6-7 football team that we were last year, which I don't believe that they are this season.
Right.
I think they're much improved in many. The only area of weakness that I see on our team right now is at our wide receiver position, and we've got a bunch of good players. I just don't know if we have that dude. But so Oklahoma State, BYU, and of course TCU, because of the season that they had last year. So those are the games later on in this going on in this season. So I got Oklahoma finishing the year at 11-1 is my prediction. And I think that they're going to meet up with Texas in the Big 12 title game. And we'll talk a little bit more about that after we get out of your Oklahoma State talk. And we'll have to do a show, too, to where we break down Texas's schedule. It's got to be one of the teams that we talk about because they're much improved. Sark's got a team. This is the year right here to where I'm still not a believer saying Texas is going to win it all and they're back and da-da-da-da-da. But this is the make or break year. You don't do something this year, you got a lot of questions. If they go another 7-5, 8-4, there's a lot of questions going in the SEC if you're a Texas fan.
No, I agree with almost everything you said. I think we come back and do another show. We got to talk about Texas and Kansas State. And here's what I go by, bro. I always buy this magazine every year. Lindy Sports. They have Texas winning the Big 12. They got Kansas State being the number 2 team. They got TCU being number 3, and they got you guys at 4. And so what you have here on your schedule is they got you guys playing number 1 Texas. That'll always happen every year, so you automatically play them. But the Big 12 did y'all some favors. You have the second easiest schedule behind Oklahoma State, who has the easiest. And you played TCU, who's picked right now to be third ahead of you guys in the conference by Lindy Sports, which I don't agree with. I think
I don't either. I don't either.
I would have flip-flopped those. I'd have had you guys third.
I don't agree with the K-State one either.
No, yeah.
I
was just about to say,
come on.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish. I was about to say, I probably have you guys ranked second. I think it's funny that you admitted on air that you guys lose to Texas. I see Texas beating y'all, but here's the thing about the Red River Shootout, bro. It's such an emotional
You
don't
game. Know. You don't know.
You don't know.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be – I'm going to be absolutely excited, and I got a buddy that I make a bet with every single year, and I'm still going to make that bet, Corey.
Yeah.
I'm still going to bet on the Oklahoma Sooners to win the game. I mean, you might call that a dummy bet or what. Like, if you don't think they're going to win, why would you bet? No, it's because it's a tradition with me and my buddy. We always put a $100 bill on the game.
Right.
So we're going to do that again this year. It's just, I don't know, man. This is one of the year, but to look at everything from a holistic standpoint, I mean, Oklahoma just pulled in the number 4 recruiting class for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got talent in there, and they also got the number 8 transfer portal class in the nation. So they've got guys that have transferred in. So
here for me, this is what 6 and 7 last year for you guys. 4 of those wins or losses were by a score or less, and 3 of them were by field goals, I believe.
I'm at 11-1 is the ceiling, Corey, and 9-3 is going to be my floor.
You shouldn't lose to TCU at home.
I don't, because I don't.
You shouldn't.
I mean, it's hard to say though that looking here right now in late June, what they're going to look like at the end of November, because that's when the rubbers meet in the road. That BYU game though is really, really, to me, Corey, like looking at the second half of this season, that's the one that's like poking off the screen to me, because it's like they get crazy over there. What is it, Provo, Utah? Is that where it's at?
Yeah,
Provo.
They got that cougar who dances. It's a cool atmosphere. But here's what I say about BYU. They right now are picked to be 10th. It's a down year for them. They lost a lot. They don't have a lot of
they lost their quarterback, everything else. I get that. But it's one of those type of games, though. They're going to be reared up and fired and ready to go.
Is there one shot at you before y'all leave? So they'll be amped up for it. It'll be on TV.
And the last time that we played BYU, they injured our freaking quarterback, and we had to put Landry Jones in as a true freshman when he wasn't. That man was out there shaking, throwing the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. But no, that's the one game where I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. Because I'm not, I really do. I believe this wholeheartedly, Corey. I'm not, we're going to talk about this, especially when we get into y'all schedule as well. But the Bedlam game, man, nah, I don't think y'all going to get us into Bedlam, bro.
I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet anything on it, to be honest.
Not with what all y'all lost. I mean, who's y'all's damn quarterback? I don't even know who the hell y'all's quarterback is.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Who y'all got it? Let's jump into it, man. So I gave you my teams 11-1, 9-3. I don't think they're fighting for no playoff spots. I don't think that they're doing. I'm not calling for that. If we make a New Year's Six bowl, I'll be satisfied with the season. If OU went 10-2 and finished second in the Big 12 and lost in the title game, and we made like a Fiesta Bowl or a Rose Bowl or something, I wouldn't be upset with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like, honestly. Especially after going 6 and 7. Like that's what we're going into the SEC with. Okay. I'd take that. That works. All right, so now let's look at y'all's easiest schedule in the Big 12. Let's check this out.
I would say this: the Big 12 definitely showed us some love for sticking around and not taking the cheese like Texas and OU. Other than outside of OU for the past however many years, the team with the second best record, Big 12 record, has been Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State.
State.
So we
Yep.
kind of carried that flag, man. It's been OU and OSU kind of carrying the conference. Now we haven't showed much for it on the Big 12 title side of it, but we've always been in the conversation, right? So let's start with the schedule. I'm looking at Central Arkansas. That should be a dub. Oklahoma State at Arizona State. That should be a dub. We should beat South Alabama. Here comes the hiccup. And before I talk about this game, I'm going to talk about what we have coming back, right? Only 4 starters on offense coming back, only 2 on defense coming back. We did hit the transfer portal hard, right? We hit it really hard. We got Alan Bowman. Now, Alan Bowman did not play much since 2020 for Texas Tech. Spent his last 2 years up in Michigan backing up. He was like the 3rd string quarterback, then the 2nd string quarterback. But he's a tall, rangy kid, can throw a nice ball. We lose our leading receiver. We lost 4 out of our 5 top receivers. Brendan Presley is our only best receiver coming back. So long story short, Lindy Sports has us finishing 7th in the Big 12, behind Baylor, Texas Tech, OU, TCU, Kansas State, and Texas. So if I look at the rest of the schedule, with all that being said, Iowa State's going to be a hard one. I'm not going to lie, dog. And
I got y'all 3-0, 3-0 at that point.
Yeah, I think I have us too, but can we go on the road? You don't like, as a Sooner fan, going on the road and playing Iowa State, right?
That's my birthday.
Let's just be clear. Iowa State is like going into the abyss.
Oh no, I hate that place,
bro.
I hate that. I've hated it ever since. Even in the years that Oklahoma was like powerful, like you could always have one of those games where it was like a freaking like 10-7 type game, and you're like, what in the hell is going on?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. What are we looking up here?
Hold on, we're looking up. Yeah, we're looking up the football schedule. Oklahoma.
That's OU.
Yeah, State football. And this is why this is what scares me about our schedule, even though it's the easiest. I see when I do this, watch what happens. It takes me back to this year. Should it be that? Oh, I see what they did. I see what they did.
Central Arkansas. Yeah,
I see they continued it from last year. So here's what happens. You got to beat Iowa State, right? You got to get that done. Right. And then look what happens next week, dog. At home, you get Kansas State, who's picked to finish 2nd, who blew you out by 48-0 last year in Manhattan.
Who's their quarterback? They got Will Howard back at quarterback.
I think Will Howard is back at quarterback, and that's why they got him picked 2nd right now, because they bring him back. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, they bring back 8 on offense and 4 on defense. Will Howard is coming back. J.D. Giddens, Treshaun Ward, Phillip Brooks, Keegan Johnson, who is a beast. They bring back a lot of dudes, man. And so I don't see that as a win, bro. I think they come up in there and they beat us again. So that Iowa State game that's a must. We'll beat Kansas, I think. We'll beat West Virginia on the road. I think we can get Cincinnati. The OU, UCF, and Houston stretch scares the ever living crap out of me. And I'll say this. I don't see us winning any 3 of those games. I don't see us beating you guys. I don't see us beating UCF, and I don't see us beating Houston. Houston has a lot of team speed that people aren't talking about. UCF is perennially a tough team. They've been down the past couple of years, but they play really, really, really good football, bro. I'm not sleeping on UCF. And then we finish up with BYU at home. I think we can win that game because BYU is down. But if I'm just being honest, I'm looking at the schedule. You're looking at Houston, UCF, Oklahoma. To me, those are all losses. We probably lose at K-State at home because what they have bringing back and just that culture of K-State. So that's 4 right there. I see an 8
so
and 4.
You're 8 and 4.
Yeah.
So you see 8 and 4. Is that your ceiling?
8 and 4, possibly 7 and 5. Yeah, that's my ceiling.
So So 7.5 is your floor, or can this thing just fall off the wagons and?
It can go 6-6. My floor would be 6-6. My ceiling would be 8-4. Now the ceiling, you can take it up a notch if you beat Houston or UCF in that little 3-game stretch.
I think you guys beat both of those teams.
Nah, man, we're bro. You have to understand what you said about Iowa State is true about Oklahoma State, bro. We work with a lot of 2- and 3-star athletes. We don't get the top recruiting classes. We just do a lot. We do a lot with very little.
That's Gundy's fault, man. He needs to start doing a better job at that.
I don't think it's Gundy's fault. I just think
it damn sure is his fault. He controls the recruiting. I mean, no. I don't understand why Oklahoma.
Let's be honest.
Why didn't y'all come to
anybody we offer? If OU comes behind and offers them, or Texas comes behind and offers them, they go. I've seen it year after year after year. This is why I don't pay attention to recruiting as much as I do, especially OSU, because I've seen kids and talked to kids that have been committed to OSU, and then they get the offer from OU, and then they go. They decommit and they commit to OU. So that's why we've always been. I was a 2-star coming out of high school. I was a first-team unanimous all-state left tackle in the state of Louisiana at the highest class of football you play in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Right. I had offers to all kind of SEC schools, all kind of Big Ten schools, and I was still a 2-star. And
you had a career in the NFL, everything.
Right.
That just goes to show you, though, I don't always sit there and look at just stars whenever you're looking at recruiting, because there's several different players that you can name off that was 2- and 3-star athletes that can be. Justin freaking Jefferson was a 2-star coming out of high school.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. When me and you have these conversations off air, you do mention stars. You be like, bro, we just got a 4-star out of Florida.
It's definitely big.
We picked up 2 5-star D linemen from Georgia. Do you not say that to me?
Here's the thing. Let me break something down to you here. You get top 10 recruiting classes, you're competing for national championships. You don't get top 10 recruiting classes, more than not, you're not. I mean, TCU last year was an anomaly, my guy. And that's why they got the doors blown off of them when it came time to play in Georgia in the national championship game. You see what I'm saying? They got lucky because they didn't have to play a Blake Corum out of Michigan. He was hurt, so they had Michigan's backup. It wasn't Michigan's best game plan. There was some things that could have went the other way. I just say all that to be said. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. So it's just it's one of those things. That's where I'm at.
You really never know what you got until it gets there, B. We've always done less with more. Des Bryant was a 3-star, right? That class that he went on to play for. By 2011, we were the Big 12 champs, and we were ranked as high as number 2 in the nation. That class
Sam Bradford.
Well, you talk about Sam Bradford. You can talk about this class.
He was a 3-star, yeah.
2 years ago when we beat you guys in Bedlam and we were ranked number 5 and we were playing in the Big 12 championship. All we had to do was beat Baylor and we had a chance to get into the top 4, right?
Right.
That recruiting class was a mid 40 to 50s recruiting class. Okay,
that was crazy. How close y'all was.
Yeah, but you never really know what you got till it gets there. So am I counting the Cowboys out?
No,
but if I'm being optimistic and hopeful, 8-4 would be
nice. I feel you. What'd y'all do last year? Didn't y'all go like 7-6 or something like that?
We went 7-6. At one point, we were 6-1. We had just beat Texas, who was ranked ahead of us.
Yeah, and then the wheels just fell off of it all.
Injuries happen, man. Half the team got hurt, and then there was a lot of internal stuff that I don't want to speak on that I know about, but I'm not going to speak on it on air. There was some dissension in the ranks between players and guys getting ready to leave. And so that's what happened, bro. And so it got derailed. But it is what it is. I see 8-4, man. We don't have a lot coming back. You know, Brennan Presley, the quarterback from Texas Tech, who hadn't played in 2 years, it's not much. You know what I mean? It's just not much.
Don't y'all got Gundy's boy too at quarterback?
Yeah, but he won't play. There's a reason why they went and got out in the transfer portal and got that the bonus. You know, and our best defensive player is going to be Kendall Daniels, who's the Big 12 Freshman of the Year last year. But other than man,
that was a guy right there that I guess you pulled their offer on him.
Yeah, we had offered him first, and he was going to come to us, and he went to A&M. I mean, he was trying to go back to OU, and then he finally settled on us. And that's just what happens with us, bro. I'm not bitching about it, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just being honest. That's the real.
Yeah. No bullshit. Oh, yeah. I feel you. You do what you got to do, man. I mean, you work with what you got. There's not much else that you can do about it. Not much is really going to change. Like you said, man, whenever you're competing against, you're in the same state, and it's even about to get even tougher too, because not only have they opened up the NIL floodgates with that new bill that they passed through Congress and everything here in Oklahoma, right? So basically, NIL is about to open up. And you got Oklahoma that's going to the SEC, my guy. I mean, when you got Oklahoma and you got Texas both that's going to be in the SEC, I feel sorry for the TCUs, the Texas Techs, the Baylors, the Oklahoma States, the K-States.
Yeah.
All those. Because that area, if you can just think, like, that's going to be all ate up, my guy. It's going to be all ate up. It's going to be all ate up. And all the players, they all either want to go to the SEC or they want to go to the Big Ten, which I think that ultimately those are going to become two power conferences. So
I have a point to make about Texas and OU going where they're going and how this is going to work out beautifully for both of you guys. All right. Missouri and A&M left the Big 12 at the same time to go to the SEC. Right.
Well, this is a much better package than that, though.
Oh, just listen. And this is why I'm not about the SEC. I think this is why Texas and OU will do good.
Right.
They left. Their first year was 2012, right?
Missouri went to the SEC championship game.
2013, their second year in the SEC. Guess what their record was?
We talking about Missouri or we talking about A&M?
Missouri. 12-2. They were 7-1 in the SEC. Their second year, Missouri was 7-1 in the SEC. Their second year and 12-2.
It's Bama or Georgia.
Texas A&M was 10-2 their second year. So this is what I'm saying. If A&M and Missouri, their second year in the SEC, can go 10-2 and 12-2, there's no reason why Texas and OU.
And I bet you one of them two losses was to Georgia or Bama or LSU. LSU in that mix.
A&M had a 10-2 record their second year. They beat Alabama.
No, I remember that was that the Johnny Manziel year where they went up into Tuscaloosa and beat them boys. No, I do remember that. And then they went on to win the Cotton Bowl. They absolutely slaughtered my Oklahoma Sooners in that Cotton Bowl game. Yeah. So, it's man, I don't know. I'm very optimistic going into the SEC, Corey. As an Oklahoma fan, I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
It's Georgia and it's Bama. Those are the only two teams that I'm like, ooh, we're about to play them.
How can you not be?
But it's all them other teams, though, like your Floridas, your LSUs. Now, LSU, they're kind of creeping on that status of a Georgia and an Alabama, but they're not quite there in my eyes. Like, I feel like I would be more confident against an LSU team before I'd be more confident against a Bama or a Georgia team. Just being realistic.
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay. Tell me why.
LSU just won a chip in 2019.
I get it.
You just said Justin Jefferson was a 2-star. Nobody had ever heard of Jamar Chase, right? They, in the last 20 years, they've won 3 national championships with 3 different coaches. All right, Les Miles.
I just don't think I'm not a Brian Kelly pumper, man.
You know what Brian Kelly did? You know what Brian Kelly did in his first year?
Well, he went like 9-3 or something like that.
He took LSU to the SEC championship and beat Nick Saban.
Well, yeah, he did. He did that. It happened.
Let's just be honest.
That was a down Alabama team, though, Corey. I think we both agree on that.
No, it's not.
That wasn't a down Alabama team last year.
They lost 2 games on the last play of the game.
I don't care what they lost.
They lost 2
I'm talking
games
that was not the same Alabama
on the
team
last
because
play of the game.
man. Georgia was
You do
by
know
far clear
if they beat
cut.
Tennessee and they beat LSU, they're in the playoff, and they lost both of those games by 3 points and 1 point. You do know that, right?
They beat one of those two
And
teams
both
in the playoff.
both of those teams they
You know
lost to
that
was on the road. They
they
lost
could
in
lose.
Death Valley and they lost in Neyland Stadium.
I
Come
get it.
on, bro. That's
Oh,
not
I
a
get
down
it.
year.
I get it. I thought it was. I thought it was the way that they played. They just didn't have that same explosiveness to them. They had a lot of close games, Corey. There was a lot of close games that could have went one way. That Texas game, Quinn
You
Ewers
told me
doesn't get
this.
hurt. Quinn
You
Ewers
told me
doesn't get
this.
hurt in that Texas game. Texas will beat Alabama.
Who's everybody's Super Bowl if Alabama's on the schedule? You told me this.
Okay,
OU's been everybody's Super Bowl in the Big 12 for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And look what they did. They went 11-2. Their only 2 losses was in Death Valley, to me, which is the hardest places to play at night. And then Neyland Stadium in front of 115,000 orange people, and they lost by 3 points.
That's a down year for Alabama.
That's sad.
Alabama, we're used to Bama only losing one game max.
Man, I will love
and
that
winning national titles.
Give me that down year.
No, a lot of other people would too, but I bet you them Alabama fans wasn't happy about that.
No.
But I bet you money on that. Shoot. That's all I'm saying.
It's just I get what you're saying, but it's not, man. Alabama will be back this year.
Oh, yes, I believe so.
They get Tennessee,
it's
LSU
all depending
at home.
on who they put at quarterback.
Bro, they're gonna roll.
We'll break that down on a future show. We're definitely gonna have Alabama on here. We got to talk about them. Yeah. We're gonna have Georgia. We'll do like an Alabama, Georgia for the SEC. We got to talk about Texas and Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is one of those sleeper teams in the Big 12 to keep your eyes on this season. Yeah. You want to talk about a team returning a bunch of guys. I don't know exact numbers, but they have a bunch of guys returning as well to their team. They got that new coach over there. It's Texas Tech. So you never know. They're on that high of beating us last year. You know what I mean? But hey, as an OU fan, though, not having to play Texas Tech, Kansas State, I'm perfect. Or Baylor, I'm perfectly fine. I'm not going to cry. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to complain. Bye. I'll see y'all later. No, I'm not upset one bit that we don't have to play them. You know what I mean?
All right. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I don't want to see him either. We beat Texas last year. We beat Texas Tech last year.
Texas or Oklahoma will win the Texas or Oklahoma will win the Big 12 in their final year in the Big 12. You can book it. Okay. That's my prediction right now on the House Divided Live. OU or Texas will win the Big 12. No doubt in my mind.
Okay.
Minus any catastrophic injuries. Now, if any of their quarterbacks go down or something catastrophic happens, all bets are off. I take my pick off of there. But as of right now, where things stand with the way the teams look, the rosters, they're definitely the 2 most talented teams in the Big 12, which they usually are.
They've been that since y'all announced that y'all were leaving. You and Texas.
I mean, Oklahoma State Texas out recruits everybody in the Big 12.
But let me say this. That's been the status quo for the past 10, 15 years. Since you guys have announced OU and Texas that y'all are leaving, Oklahoma State and Baylor played in the championship, and then TCU and Kansas State played in the championship. And I'm willing to bet that both of those years, Texas and OU had a better recruiting class in all 4 of those schools. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, by far. By far. They reach in the top 10. They reach in the top 10.
Yeah. So nothing's a certainty, big dog.
No, it's only going to keep getting better, too, as we go to the SEC and start getting those. Oh, my gosh. Talking about – we got to do a show on just recruiting, man. I need you to dive into your notes.
I'm tapping in, man. I'm starting to
break down recruiting.
Let's go.
So, you got anything else you want to talk to about tonight, man?
No, that's it, bro.
I think we kind of broke these down. So, you got Oklahoma State going 8-4, 7-5 range. I got Oklahoma floor at 9-3, 11-1. Their ceiling. I do want to reiterate, I'm an absolute Boomer Sooner fan, and and even a real true Sooner fan can sit here and tell me right now that we're just going to pull up in there to Dallas and beat Texas. You're out your mind. You're just, I mean, I don't think you're absolutely out your mind, but Texas is, they're more, they're ready. They're primed up. We'll see if it happens. Now I wouldn't be surprised if it went the absolute opposite way on me, Corey, and Texas goes 6-7, 7-5 type of thing. I could see that too. You see what I mean? So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. That's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
I would absolutely love that result for Texas. 7-5, 6-7, trash, just
Who wouldn't?
shit.
Who wouldn't?
That'd be the greatest. It's horns down all day, every day. I want that to be absolutely clear. It's Boomer Sooner till I die.
Bet.
I just wanted to make that absolutely clear because I did pick Texas, but just as a realistic breakdown for our show, I couldn't.
Sounds like a man apologizing to me, but hey,
I am. I hate it. Hey guys, as always, guys, y'all already know what you need to do. If you're with us at this point, 41 minutes into this live, and you guys have not subscribed yet, shame on you guys. It's real easy. Hop down there and subscribe. There's a lot of people probably watching our content that aren't subscribing. It's real easy. It's free. Doesn't cost y'all a thing. Tap the notification bell. Smash that thumbs up button as well. But last but not least, guys, hop down there in those comment boxes. What do y'all think about our takes on Oklahoma and Oklahoma State? Are we out of line? Are we a little too high? Are we a little too low? Let us know. We want to hear from y'all. So as always, guys, this is the House Divided Podcast. Live tonight with y'all talking college football. We got more teams that we're going to be breaking down. I think the next teams that we should do, Corey, is Texas and Kansas State. We will break them down. I'm down for tomorrow night if you are, sir.
Yes, sir, I am.
So we can hop on here and talk about Texas and Kansas State tomorrow. So as always, guys, it's my boy Corey over there. It's your boy B Hill right here. Peace out, guys.
Peace.